Good evening, everyone. Thank you. Welcome to the 102nd Order of William Pynchon Award Ceremony. My name is Nancy Erbschott, and I'll be serving as your host and cat herder and whatever else needs to be done. I've really been looking forward to tonight's event and the opportunity to learn about 4 people who have dedicated themselves to making life better for others. We'll hear the stories about these people in our midst who share unselfishly without any thought of the recognition that they're going to receive tonight. I don't know about you, but I wake up every morning feeling pretty discouraged once I've scrolled through my Twitter feed. Throughout the day, the constant barrage of stories about people doing really bad things can really be overwhelming. Recently, I was reminded by a pretty unlikely source, 2 17-year-olds, that it's good to take a step back away from technology and simply appreciate the beauty around you. The twin brothers provided the reminder to 200 attendees at the TEDx conference in Springfield. They gave a most inspiring talk about an unlikely subject, ants. They started studying ants when they were in middle school. They live in suburban Philadelphia, and they developed this passion for ants. And beyond just facts, like there are 1.6 million ants for every person on the planet, and there are over 7 billion people. So that gives you some sense of just how many ants. And also, the lifespan of a queen ant is about 30 years. So that's a lot of production of baby ants. So these 2 brothers, beyond just knowing facts, have developed this profound appreciation for nature in the form of ants. And they really relish the beauty and resiliency of these creatures. So tonight, we have an opportunity to put down our cell phones, and if you haven't already, please silence them, and learn about the distinctive and beautiful contributions made by tonight's 2017 Pynchon honorees. And I'll name them, and then I would like for us to applaud. Bob Greeley, Judy Ingris, Paul Sears, and Susan Canning. So now I'd like to acknowledge the Pynchon trustees who researched and unanimously selected tonight's honorees. Pynchon Chairman David Checke, Teresa Utt, Barbara Perry, Jillian Gould, Karen Hines, and Mary Shea. And I think we say, well done. The Pynchon Award has real significance in our community. It's pretty amazing that a small nonprofit organization has been able to maintain the integrity of a 102-year-old tradition. In your program, you'll find a complete list from our first medalist, Marcus Knowlton, Perrin Knowlton, up to the 4 individuals we're inducting tonight. The Advertising Club's past president, historian, and Pynchon chairman, David Checke, is responsible for designing the book and maintaining the club's archives. Thank you, David. We're pleased to have a number of Pynchon medalists with us this evening. Please hold your applause while I read their names. From the class of 2016, Brian Toohey, Angela Wright, Gail Kirkwood. From 2014, Kathy Picard. 2013, Joan Kagan. 2012, Ellen Fryman. Steve Hayes from 2012, as well as Bob Perry. Barbara Bernard, 2010. Susan J. Kaplan, 2009. Michael Ash Jr., 2008, along with Diane Doherty in the same year, and Charlie Ryan in 1981. So we have family members here who are here to celebrate with us tonight. Please, once again, hold your applause until after I've read all of their names. Honoree Bob Greeley's wife Susanna, daughter Megan, and sons Sean and Brendan's wife Amy, stepsons Brent Hall, and Sam Peters, and twin brother Jack. Honoree Judy Ingris, her husband Ted, her mother Bernice, Judy's daughters Becky Ingris and Liz Ramaswamy, grandsons Zachary and Aaron Ramaswamy, and Judy's brother David Kalika and his wife Jan. Honoree Susan Canning's wife, Shannon Small, Susan's mother Lori and her son Sean Major. Honoree Paul Sears' wife Josephine and their 6 children, Josephine Rodriguez and her husband Daniel, Patrick Sears and his wife Carolyn, Paul B. Sears and his wife Kristen, Kevin Sears and his wife Molly, Brian Sears and his wife Tanya, and Katie Tivnan and her husband Peter. Now, given that we could field a soccer team plus substitutes with the number of Sears grandchildren who are here, I think we should just have them all stand up. Awesome. Thank you also to the people who nominate the outstanding individuals for trustees' consideration each year. You know, all you have to do is write a letter and supply some references so that then the trustees can begin to do their work and research the really abundant nominees that were submitted this year. And tonight we have really wonderful awardees. So that's enough about the process. Let's get started on the really good stuff. I'd like to invite Brendan Greeley to come up to the podium and share a few thoughts about tonight's first honoree, your dad, Bob Greeley.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome. My name is Brendan Greeley, and I have the honor tonight of introducing someone who I know quite well, my father, Bob Greeley. But first, to all the recipients tonight, I would just like to say congratulations. Your dedication to what you do is truly an inspiration to us all. Also, to everyone else who made the time to get here tonight to honor all these amazing Pynchon Award recipients, thank you. I think it's really part of our duty as a community to recognize all these individuals because they deserve it, but also because we need more people like them. What seems to me to echo within the stories of all of the hard work of these recipients tonight is that they don't do what they do to get credit for it. Now, believe me, there are plenty of things my father has done gladly over the years to take credit for. And I'm being playful, but I'm being serious because I think it's in that context that you can best appreciate that his work with people in recovery comes from the most selfless, compassionate place in his heart. And I'm telling you, it's got to be a big heart because there are a lot of people he's helped over the years. Now, I don't want to minimize the other activities and accomplishments that Bob's had throughout his life, nor would I dare forget to mention them, Dad. But there's no doubt he's been a leader from the beginning. In 1981, he started R.J. Greeley Company and quickly became an area leader in commercial and industrial real estate. He's participated on any number of boards over the years, to name a few: Cathedral High School Board of Directors, Alcohol and Drug Services of Western Mass, the KEEP Program, the Society of Prevention of Cruelty to Children, Partner for a Healthier Community, Hampden County Deputy Sheriff's Association, even a Deputy Sheriff of the Year one year. He was on the advisory board for ROCA. He was a member and chair of the advisory board of Salvation Army for many years. He was a founding member of the STCC Foundation and vice president for many years. And for that one, he was even awarded an honorary diploma from STCC for all the support he's given them over the years. He's also currently the president of a nonprofit provider of sober living housing called Oxford Associates, who operate 2 sober houses. But it's what he quietly does, and many of you can attest to the fact that he is not known to be a quiet person. It's what he quietly does that makes me the most proud. I've worked with my father for 15 years, or maybe 13, depending on whether or not we're counting the last two. But seriously, thank you for that. But seriously, I can't tell you how many times we've been in the middle of something, and he'd get a call, or maybe someone would walk into the office, and he would just say, "Brent, I got to take this." And at times, I think, like, come on, we're right in the middle of something. Can we just get this done? But he knew that right then somebody was in real need, and he is always ready to help. He's remained involved with Alcoholics Anonymous since he himself got clean and sober about 30 years ago. Not only to continue to reflect on his own sobriety, but to help illuminate the path for others. People get sent his way from all corners of the community by people who've heard these whispers about what he's done and who he's worked with before. And he's always willing to go talk to a family and maybe help them understand how they can best support their loved ones with addiction problems. Bob has always been the one to give it to you straight. And nobody needs straight talk like addicts need straight talk. But he also knows that he can't do it for them, and his objective is always to help get them in the right frame of mind to accept the help that they so desperately need, and that's not easy. The network of people has been growing for many years and continues to grow, yet barely anyone outside that network really has a clue of what he's doing. So tonight, everybody, if you would please join me and my friends and my family who came out here tonight to recognize, acknowledge, and honor this man who has dedicated so much of his life to helping others, my father, Bob Greeley.
Most of it was just like I told him. Good evening, everybody, and I too would like to congratulate the other honorees, and I want to thank the trustees of the Pynchon Award for their selection. When Teresa Utt came into my office and told me that. And as Brendan alluded to, I'm not a guy that's shy about speaking, but I was blown away by, and I happen to know a lot about it because my dad was a recipient in 1979. And a cool thing about that is that I went through the list, and as far as I can figure out, the only other father and son team was Jim Shea and Jim Shea Jr. of Milton Bradley fame. So it's cool for me, and it's cool for my family that I have been given this award. It's an awkward thing about the whole sobriety thing because it's an anonymous program that I spend a lot of time with. And part of that is so you don't judge the program by the performance of an individual. At the same time, that the issues of sobriety, and another thing I've done a lot with is post-incarceration housing and jobs and whatever, and which is why I'm such a fan of the former sheriff, but he'll always be Sheriff Mike Ash. And I want to clear that he came to support me tonight. It has nothing to do with Paul Sears. Okay, just want that clear. Okay, so and mental health, substance abuse, and incarceration, as most of you probably know or suspect, are what's the word? Someone intrinsically, they're very connected to each other, and I could regale you with stories for hours that would make you cry, or make you laugh, or whatever, with the community that is sadly growing And, I mean, we hear a lot about the opioid crisis and all that kind of stuff. Well, let me tell you, or you could ask Kathy Wilson from BHN right here, this ain't getting better, kids. There's a lot of programs, but the situation is nuts. I have been fortunate a little bit because of my notoriety in the community, so to speak, and as word spreads, that people call me and say, hey, my husband's in trouble or my kid's in trouble. This morning, I'm walking out the driveway to get in the car, and the lady next door stops her car. She's in her 80s, and she says, oh, I saw you were getting that award. And she went on to tell me the story of her 24-year-old grandson who OD'd in March, And what people don't think about is or don't focus enough on is that every one of these people who are involved in, what's the percent, Sheriff Ash, 85, 90% of the people in Ludlow have substance abuse issues? I mean, some crazy number. But every one of these people, there's a ripple effect to their family and their friends and their kids and their parents and their cousins and their co-workers and everybody else that also pays the price for this thing. And it's a scourge in our society, and we got to do something about it. We got to continue. And that's why I don't mind being, and I have been for quite a while, out front about it. I don't mind. I'm proud of myself for 30 years of sobriety, so and since rigorous honesty is one of the tenets, it's 29 and a half years. It'll be in May that I got 30 years. So, and the other two things that I have that I've spent a lot of time with over the years is I was the chairman of the advisory board for the Salvation Army, which is and I'm not talking about the clothes and the used furniture stuff. I'm talking about their Citadel Corps, which is Coats for Kids and Toys for Joy and the Bridging the Gap and all those kinds of programs that we don't. The Army's never done a good job about publicizing that, but and when you see all all the disasters we've had, and they talk about the Red Cross, the Salvation Army is there doing the same things, just not getting the recognition that I think they deserve. And the other thing I have spent a lot of time on and is the STCC. I was a founding member of their foundation board back, I don't know, in the 80s, I guess, and along with my idol, Brian Toohey. Brian, could you stand up, please? Where's my idol, Brian? He's not. He won't stand up. There he is. But we were president and vice president, respectively, for a lot of years of the foundation. And I have always thought that Boston College, where I graduated from, with a $3 billion endowment or whatever it is, that they don't need any help from me. But STCC, which is a last rung for so many people and gets them from here to there, it's STC is such a jewel of our community, and I would have to say Holyoke, the community college system, but STCC I've been involved in, and it's just a phenomenal what they have done for so many people. So who didn't get recognized there's my son Brendan, who you heard from him, and we'll talk later, and then my oldest son, Sean, who came up from Florida to be here. And then my favorite daughter, Megan. Dad, I'm your only daughter. I don't care, you're my favorite daughter. And she flew up today from Baltimore with her 4-month-old son. Didn't bring her 2.5-year-old who could run around and go, Gamps, Gamps. But Megan, I got to give you a shout out for such an effort to get here. And of course, there's so many friends, and I did mention my twin brother Jack, who is trying hard to emulate my stuff, but he thinks of himself as a parts vehicle for me, but I had to mention Jack because I got 6 brothers and sisters, but Jack being an identical twin, that's a special thing. So I want to just thank everyone who came out to honor and support me and all the other recipients. They all seem so much more deserving than me. But everyone keeps saying, "Oh no, all right," but it doesn't feel like it. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you. I'll end on this. I feel like I've been here before. In the 8th grade of Holy Cross Grammar School, at the graduation ceremony, they gave out 3 awards to the 3 smart kids. And I think the overall best student award went to Peter Hess, I think. And then they gave out a mathematics award, and they gave it to Jack. Who got the religion award? Yeah, baby. And if you think it was ironic then, this is really ironic now. So, on that note, I'll thank you all, and God bless the recipients, and thank you to the Ad Club and the trustees of the Pynchon Award.
And now Scott Whitney, who is the president of the Advertising Club, will bestow the honoree with the Pynchon Medal.
Ooh.
Stay right there.
Ooh.
I'm going to move the...
Okay. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Sure.
Bob, I'd like to read a proclamation that was written in your honor. Success in business is admirable, and you, Bob Greeley, have earned our admiration, not only with your expertise, but with your generosity in public service. These, however, are not why we honor you now. Tonight, we honor the man your friends call, quote, a shining example of someone who loves the unlovable, end quote. A man who turns around on a dime when anyone, friend or stranger, needs help overcoming addiction. We may never know how many lives have been recovered thanks to your wisdom, support, and mentorship, but we know there are many. And we thank you now for 3 decades of commitment and for stoking the passion that burns beneath your very professional demeanor. For these, we commend you to the Order of William Pynchon. So we thank you for your service to our community. On the behalf of the Advertising Club of Western Massachusetts, we welcome you to the Order of William Pynchon.
Thank you very much. Yeah, okay, thank you.
And now Margie Berg will come up and speak on behalf of our second honoree, Judy Ingris.
Hi, everybody. I want to congratulate all of the honorees tonight as well. It's really heartwarming to know that there are people like you in this world who are doing such positive things for everybody. And thank you and congratulations. I am so honored to be here tonight to introduce a remarkable woman. Judy Ingris may be small in stature, but she's a huge presence, and she puts her heart into everything she does. There's an old saying, if you want something done, ask a busy person. Judy is that person, and she'll never let you down. She's like the Pied Piper. People want to work with her because she engages and connects with everyone in a way that makes them want to take up her causes. Judy's motto is, you make a living by what you get, and you make a life by what you give, and this embodies her dedication to improving the quality of life in the greater Springfield area. The daughter of Bernice and Joseph Kalicka, Judy was educated in the Holyoke Public Schools before graduating from the University of Pennsylvania. She taught elementary school in Chicago, San Diego, and New York, and returned to Western Mass to raise her family. Judy is married to Dr. Ted Ingris, a local ophthalmologist, and they are the proud parents of Liz and Becky and their son-in-laws, Sanjay and Eric. Their greatest joy is their 4 grandsons, Zachary, Aaron, Danny, and Alex. Judy has been actively involved with many local organizations, too many to name, but including the Jewish Federation of Western Mass, the Jewish Community Center of Springfield, the Junior League of Springfield, Longmeadow Public Schools, the Springfield Council of Jewish Women, Hadassah, She was a founding member of LEAP, the Longmeadow Educational Assistance Program, and was very active in the resettlement of Russian immigrants in Springfield for a very long time. The highlight of her service to the community, however, was the establishment of Rachel's Table in 1992, and this is when I met Judy. I was the director of the women's division while she was serving as president, and she wanted to do something important and meaningful. She recognized a need to provide food to the disadvantaged in our region, and with the support of the Jewish Federation, Judy and her highly motivated committee, remember she's the Pied Piper, they modeled Rachel's Table after similar programs they had visited in Worcester and New Haven. Judy poured her heart and soul into planning, building consensus, and motivating those around her to implement the program. Rachel's Table, a project of the Jewish Federation of Western Mass and TV 22, donates on an annual basis more than 400,000 pounds of food to 40 soup kitchens, food pantries, shelters, and other agencies in Greater Springfield. Rachel's Table also serves as a catalyst for community activism, engaging hundreds of volunteers of all ages and from all walks of life to come together to help those in need. The program has continued to grow and blossom over the years to meet evolving needs. In the Greater Springfield area, nearly 50% of school-aged children are food insecure, which means they're unsure about where they'll find their next meal. Rachel's Table now provides healthy and kid-friendly snacks and shelf-stable milk to agencies that serve children. And a teen board was developed to educate their peers about the local hunger and poverty issues and to be a part of the solution. 2017 marks the 25th anniversary of Rachel's Table in Western Mass, and while Judy relinquished her role as president after 14 years, she remains steadfast in her commitment to the program, continuing to serve as a board member and active volunteer in daily operations. And she does it all with a smile, all the time. Like I said, a remarkable woman. Please join me in welcoming my friend and my role model, Judy Ingris.
Wow. Thank you, Margie. That was quite an intro. I too want to say hello and welcome to everybody and thank my fellow, and not thank, to congratulate my fellow honorees. This is quite an amazing evening. I've never been privileged enough to attend, so I wasn't sure what to expect. There are so many people to thank tonight. I would really like to thank Deborah Haas-Wilson, who nominated me for this special award. I'd like to thank the Advertising Club of Western Massachusetts, the trustees of the Order of Pynchon for this wonderful honor. Margie just, I don't know, she told you my life. She really told so much. So for me to be here in Holyoke at the log cabin, which was always my family's special place to go when we had a special event, this just seems so fitting. And today, this wonderful establishment is owned by a very special man, Peter Roscoven, who is a member of the Rachel's Table Professional Advisory Board. And I can't thank Peter enough for all that he does for Rachel's Table. He is so generous, both with his time and his talents and what he does for us. In addition to Peter, I want to thank my Rachel's Table Board. I'm trying to take a look to see who might be here tonight. Maybe you could stand up. Some of the board members have actually served on this board for 25 years. Judy Yaffe, Betsy Bertuzzi, who else is here? I know others were coming. Actually, I'd like you to give Jane Cohen. I'd like you to give a round of applause. You know, I have been involved in many, many volunteer endeavors. And I have to honestly say there has never been an organization with such incredibly dedicated, hardworking volunteers. And I think if you look at it and you think Rachel's Table is now 25 years old, how many people stay involved with anything for 25 years? It's really remarkable. And I think we probably have somewhere between 180 and 200 volunteers at this point in time. And off the top of my head, I can think of probably 30 people who've been with us since the get-go. And actually, I'm looking at one right now, Seymour Franco, who, you want to stand, Seymour? Seymour is a driver. Actually, he drove today. He wondered why I didn't dispatch. Sorry. Ann Robinson has been a volunteer a long time. You know, what's so wonderful about Rachel's Table, our volunteers cross all lines and ages, religions. We have teenagers up to nonagenarians. And I'm going to offer everyone in this room tonight a wonderful opportunity. If you're not already involved in Rachel's Table, think about joining us. We have room for more volunteers to either dispatch or to drive or to help support our need to end hunger in Western Massachusetts. Maybe you have a favorite restaurant you like to go to. Next time you're there, ask them, have you heard about Rachel's Table? Do you have leftovers that you could donate? Would you like to cook a meal once a month for one of their agencies? If we could have everyone in this room go out and speak on behalf of Rachel's Table, I'm sure that could really be a tremendous help in eradicating hunger here. You know, I am a Holyoke kid, and I'm really proud of my Holyoke roots. I'm so proud that I have 4 generations of my family here tonight. I have my wonderful mother, who, along with my dad, were the best role models to teach me about volunteerism. There's a Jewish precept of tikkun olam, or repair of the world. And my parents and grandparents taught me by their example what it means to give back to the community you live in and to help others. So, Mom, this award I'm receiving tonight, I have to share with you because you were the role model that taught me what to do. Thank you so much. I love you. She's 92 years young. Her mind is better than mine. You heard I met my husband in college. I was just a freshman when I met him. He's the love of my life. He has supported me in all my endeavors, and his support extends also literally and figuratively. When I wanted to be involved with Rachel's Table, he said, go for it, do what you have to do. The phone calls that would come in at nights and on weekends were not for him with his ophthalmology practice. They were for me with certain problems that came up from Rachel's Table. He never complained. He was always there to support me. My daughters, Liz and Becky, also helped volunteer for Rachel's Table. We started it when Liz was a senior in high school. My girls have learned firsthand that not everybody was lucky enough to grow up the way they have and how important it is to give back. You know, my grandparents and parents taught me, and I hope I've taught my girls. I'm lucky to have my 2 oldest grandsons, Zachary and Aaron, here, the importance of helping. We have a lovely Hebrew expression, lador vador, from generation to generation. And it's so important to pass down these important things. They have to be our legacy. And as Margie mentioned, I'm so pleased that I think it's 7 years ago, I think it was in 2010, that we started a teen board of Rachel's Table. These kids are awesome. And let me just invite any of you who have teenagers, 7th to 12th grade in local schools. I'm sorry my grandsons live in Franklin, Mass., because trust me, they would be getting involved with these teen boards. These kids meet once a month, and they learn about hunger. They're involved in trying to help eradicate hunger. You know, there are so many children that go to bed hungry at night. This shouldn't happen. Our teens run a 5K race in June. They also do an arts festival, and they have a program also where we have them fill backpacks. So kids in the Holyoke schools who don't have food on the weekend take these backpacks filled with food home, so they'll have food to eat. This is really something when you think about what these teens are accomplishing. Also, November 5th, I think, is the first Sunday. The Big Y in Long Meadow, we are going to be having a food raiser. We're going to be having anyone who would like come and shop. The trucks from Providence Ministry and the open pantry will be outside to collect all the food that is purchased that day. And if you want to come to Long Meadow from 10 to 12 that day and be involved, we have prizes that we're going to be giving out for the best shoppers using coins, coupons, which we will give you. And I'm thinking the holidays are coming soon. People don't need an extra tie. They don't need a scarf. Do something really special. Make a donation to Rachel's Table in honor of a friend, a boss, a coworker. Think about the good that you'll be doing and how happy you're going to make somebody else feel that you're helping others. Margie really mentioned so many of the programs that we have for Rachel's Table. We initially started out by just picking up leftover perishables and non-perishables from restaurants and caterers and bakeries. And then we realized a need for other foods we weren't getting, so we started these food purchase programs. Actually, it was just 20 years ago for my parents' 50th wedding anniversary that my brother and sister-in-law and husband and I decided to start a fund in their name. So we have the Kalika Parmalat Fund. That's purchasing shelf-stable milk for our women's and children's shelters, so there will always be milk on hand. Shelters don't often know who's going to be arriving and when this could happen. We have a protein project. I'll never forget, here in Holyoke, one of our shelters, Girls Inc. Dear friend Diana Abbasi delivered the protein wish list, and the children there could not believe they were going to have real chicken. Think about that, real chicken. We have another wonderful program that Nancy Posnick and her family started, our produce, fresh produce. And we pick up at the farmers markets. And actually 10 years ago, B. Lovey, who I see here tonight, got this gleaning program started. This gleaning program we've run from July through about the end of October at local farms. And we take kids, Girl Scout troops or church groups, Boy Scouts, to various farms and glean the produce. Then they sift through it, and then they're brought to the shelters to deliver it. And then they also get a little bit of an education about what goes on at these shelters. This is life-changing. You know, hunger is 365 days a year, and it's really important. What could be more basic than feeding people? So I also would like to just take a minute to talk about the Russian resettlement work that I did back in the 80s and early 90s, especially in light of what's going on today. That was amazing work, helping new immigrants get settled, finding apartments, finding jobs, taking them for driver's licenses, furnishing their apartments. My dear friend Evie Terras is here tonight, and she and I used to be schleppers and haulers. We'd fill her van with household goods and furniture and truck it off to help set up apartments. Immigrants are what this country is founded on. And Saturday night, my husband and I were so lucky to be at the opening of the Springfield Symphony. I don't know how many of you were there, but it was a spectacular evening. And our seats were down front on the right side of the orchestra, and I was facing Boris Kogan, who is an incredible cellist. And Boris is one of the many people that I helped to resettle. And I thought, look at this. This is so wonderful how people can come from another country, learn a language, learn our customs, and become successful. It just was so thrilling for me to be able to see that and to know how many other people I was able to help this way. Anyway, I want to thank you all again for being here, and I think somebody's next.
Judy, I'd like to read a proclamation that was written on your behalf. Judy Ingris, you are a person who always comes to the table prepared to help. So how fitting it is that you are the inspiration and powerhouse behind Rachel's Table. The remarkable program that you brought to us 25 years ago and continue to serve today has become a critical food source for families in our region. It is not the only cause you have championed, but it is one that makes an enormous difference for thousands of our neighbors who rely on soup kitchens and food pantries to eat healthy food and be able to feed their children. For the countless hours and boundless energy you've contributed to establish this tradition of generosity, and for the voluminous gifts of fresh fish and chicken and birthday cakes for those who deserve much more than they have, we thank you and welcome you to the Order of William Pynchon. We thank you for your service to our community, and on the behalf of the Advertising Club of Western Massachusetts, we welcome you to the Order of William Pynchon.
Thank you. Josephine Sears Rodriguez, please tell us about your dad, Paul Sears, tonight's third honoree. Don't be nervous, Paul.
Thank you, Nancy. Good evening. It's my great honor to introduce the next Pynchon Award recipient to you. I work at Western New England University, and one of the things that's stressed these days when students go to college is the importance of civic engagement. In higher education, we're trying to instill in the next generation how important it is for each of us to give back to the community in which we live, and to try to make a positive impact in some way. When I think of civic engagement, the immediate image that comes to my mind is my parents, Paul and Josephine Sears. They have both been great role models in this regard. I think I sense a family theme going here. In particular, tonight we honor my dad. In February, when I saw that the Ad Club of Western Mass was seeking nominees for the Pynchon Award, which is given to citizens whose lives and achievements typify the ideals of promoting citizenship and the building of a better community in Western Mass, I felt called to nominate my dad. As many of you here tonight know, Paul Sears is and always has been extremely passionate about making the city of Springfield a better place to live. From his days as executive director of the MICA Corporation, to his 8 years on the city council, to his service as a Barney Estate trustee, to over 5 decades of involvement in the Forest Park Civic Association, and an equal amount of time as a realtor and businessman, Paul has worked tirelessly to promote home ownership and to do everything in his power to make the neighborhoods of Springfield vibrant communities. In addition to his civic involvement, Paul has also made an impact in the community through his commitment to his church and to many charitable organizations. It's my fervent hope that the next generation, well represented here by many, many people, including 15 of Paul's 17 grandchildren, will be inspired by his example and the example of the other Pynchon Award recipients, and will try to make the community a better place to live. That someday they will be shining examples of civic engagement themselves. At this time, it's my distinct honor and pleasure to introduce to you a very worthy recipient of the Pynchon Award, and the man I'm proud to call Dad, Paul Sears.
Thank you, Josephine, for your kind introduction and for nominating me for the William Pynchon Award. I also want to thank the Ad Club of Western Mass for including me in its awards list for 2017. My son-in-law, Peter Tivnan, who's with us tonight, gave me several books to brush up on about William Pynchon and the history of Springfield. Peter also advised me that if I get up to speak, I should remember two things that Father Farland always uses at Sacred Heart Church when he's giving his homilies. Peter said, start with a joke and keep it short. I will try to follow Pete's suggestions tonight. Doing some research on William Pynchon, I was looking at things I had in common with him and came up with the fact that he had 7 children. And my wife and I, Josephine, have 6 children so far. William Pynchon and I both served as municipal officials. He as a magistrate and I as a city councilor. I also found out that William Pynchon's original deed for the purchase of the Springfield properties, and somebody reminded me that that was Agawam, Springfield, West Springfield, Holyoke, everywhere else, were recorded, and I have brought copies with me tonight, and they're up front here. If anybody wants a copy of Pynchon's deed, you've got one here to take home and frame it or do whatever you like. We also have a display of pictures of the city of Springfield from 65? 75. They're available if anybody wants a little handout tonight, a little extra. Pynchon was a very successful landowner and made a very good income renting out his properties. And I have, in my job, have made my living doing the same thing, owning a lot of rental property. On the other hand, Pynchon was also famous for a book that he wrote, The Meritorious Pride of Our Redemption, which was the first religious book banned and burned in Boston in 1650. 2 years later, he moved back to England and left his properties here to his children. So far, I have not yet had anything banned anywhere that I'm aware of. My involvement in city affairs has a lot to do with the leadership of Charlie Ryan, one of the past recipients of this award, who is here tonight with us, a great former mayor. Charlie has always been a marvelous inspiration to my wife, Josephine, who happens to be his sister, and to myself, and to our children, and all believe in doing our part to make Springfield and our neighborhoods and schools as healthy as possible. My wife and I have been impressed by looking at the list of people that you see in your program tonight and see the scores of names, familiar faces that appear in the list since 1915. Looking at that list, including names of marvelous men and women, business people, clergy, educators, civic leaders, It's a real inspiring group to view. I'm happy to be here tonight with Susan Canning, Uncle Bob Greeley over here, and Judy Ingris, and become the most recent and newest members of the William Pynchon Award. Joe and I are blessed by the fact that 5 of our children and 16 of our grandchildren live in the Forest Park neighborhood in Springfield. Most of them are here tonight. We thank all of our family and friends who are here saluting the new awardees, and we hope you enjoy this happy occasion. We also hope you will all have God's blessing as you leave us tonight, and hopefully what? Hopefully I'm done. Thank you, Pastor. Thank you. Thank you.
Paul, I'd like to read a proclamation that's been written in your honor. It says, Paul Sears, you've served in missions, raised funds for nonprofits, and advanced local institutions and causes with great generosity. But it is your love of Springfield and the care with which you help to shape it and protect it that we honor this day with the William Pynchon Award. Your passionate work and support of our neighborhoods, your protection of our proud historic districts, and the lifetime you've spent helping families of limited means own a home. These acts have shown us how a lifetime of civic pride can lift an entire community. For your spirit and dedication, we thank you and welcome you to the Order of William Pynchon. So we wish to thank you for your public service, and on behalf of the Ad Club of Western Massachusetts, we welcome you to the Order of William Pynchon.
And now we'll ask Lisa Doherty to come up and share your thoughts about Susan Canning, tonight's final honoree.
Good evening. It's such an honor and a pleasure to be here to introduce a very worthy recipient of the Pynchon Award, Susan Canning. I'd like to congratulate Sue and all of the honorees. It's really an impressive group of individuals, and we're lucky to have you in our community. Sue Canning has made heart health education a priority in her life, dedicating countless hours to the foundation she developed to raise awareness of this issue. I thought I would borrow from David Letterman to share with you the top 10 things that you should know about Susan Canning. Number 10, while you might just barely be able to see her head over the lectern, don't be fooled by her stature. She is a force of nature driven by her passion and determination. Number 9, Sue is super competitive, striving to outdrive the longest drive contest at golf tournaments, outraise what was raised last year at the fundraiser, and most importantly, make more people aware of heart health than anybody else in the community. Sue has a passion, number 8, Sue has a passion for scuba diving and has traveled the world looking for the great next dive. Sue is generous, and not only financially, but with her knowledge and time, as you will learn tonight. The foundation she created has given away almost 100 AEDs, defibrillators, to area schools and organizations to help save lives. And Sue has a new addiction to pickleball. Maybe you can help her, Bob. If you want to find her on a weekend morning, go to the Westfield pickleball courts. And number 5, be prepared that you might leave here tonight knowing how to do CPR. She is tireless in her efforts to educate on heart health. So Sue has adopted Western Mass as her home, but if you listen closely, you just might hear that North Shore accent of her youth. And number 3, Sue has learned the hard way to make the most of each day that she has and absolutely lives life to the fullest. Number 2, Sue Canning is fearless. With no political background at all and a full-time job, several years ago, Sue set out to bring game-changing legislation to the state of Massachusetts. 2 laws later, she's mastered the system, taught my 10-year-old how to lobby at the State House in Boston, which she now uses at home, annoyingly. And she continues to champion legislation to protect our children's heart health. As you will hear from Sue tonight, number 1, life threw her a curveball that she has managed to turn into a home run. As Nora Ephron once wrote, above all, be the heroine in your own life, not the victim. Sue is our heroine. She is an inspiration to all of us, and what Sue has accomplished with her foundation is nothing short of remarkable. The Pynchon Award is a tremendous honor, and Sue is a really deserving recipient. I am so pleased and proud to introduce our friend Susan Canning.
Okay, can you see me? Thank you, Lisa. Good evening. I stand here before you with great joy and great sorrow. I'd like to thank the Ad Club of Western Mass. I'd like to thank the Pynchon trustees and all of its members for honoring the work that I have accomplished with the Kev's Foundation. I am truly appreciative and very humbled. And I'm honored to be in such great company this evening with Bob, Paul, and Judy. Thank you for doing what you do in our communities. I'd like to recognize also all of the past recipients here tonight that are celebrating this new class. Thank you for everything you have done for our communities. My story began 6.5 years ago. I received a phone call no parent ever wants to receive. It was a beautiful, sunny Monday afternoon, and I was informed my 19-year-old son, Kevin, dove off a boat on Congamon Lake, never to return to the surface. That moment, that day, changed my life and my family's life forever. What we learned is that Kevin had an undiagnosed condition, heart condition, HCM, hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. Kevin, prior to this, showed no signs or symptoms of having anything wrong. In fact, Kevin was an avid athlete throughout his life. He was involved in hockey, rugby, golf, baseball, just to name a few. That day, July 11th, 2011, will forever be etched in my soul. That one phone call changed my life. It changed who I am as a wife, a daughter, a mother, and a friend forever. As I began navigating through very unfamiliar territory of overwhelming grief, sadness, disbelief, I realized one day I needed to make a decision. I'd come to a fork in the road, and one direction was very dark and lonely. The other direction offered hope. It offered something that had purpose, that maybe would give a reason for losing Kevin. I believe Kevin would have wanted me to take that road. I believe he would want me to channel my grief in educating others on sudden cardiac arrest in young adults. He would want me to screen young adults with the possibility of finding an undiagnosed heart condition before it's too late. He would also want me to look at the laws to change so other children would be in a heart-safe environment, whether they're attending school, playing on a ball field, or just living life. With that in mind, I chose the road that would honor Kevin's memory. With the support of my family and my friends, the Kev's Foundation was formed. My life has always been very blessed with very strong, motivated family and friends, and I watched and I learned from their examples. The life lessons my mother has taught me throughout my life, my unwavering support that my wife Shannon has shown me, who never runs when I come home and say, I have a new idea for Kev's Foundation, or my famous one, I have a project I think would be perfect for Kev's. My son Sean, who also could have taken that dark road, but instead he has chosen to pursue a career as a paramedic to save lives. I love you all, and I thank you for your support. These have been very difficult years, and without you, I couldn't have done it. The past 5 years have been very busy for the Kev's Foundation. We have screened 1,400 plus students at 15 different heart screenings throughout the Western Mass area. And I'd like to recognize Dr. Jennifer Hickson. She's the founding director of the Chair of Health Sciences at Westfield State University. It's Westfield State University who volunteers their students to help us with our heart screenings. Without them, it would not be possible. And also, Dr. Michael Willis, our medical director and our lead screening physician. And I'm excited to say Michael is not here tonight because Business West is honoring Michael as healthcare hero tonight. We're so proud and we're so lucky to have both Jennifer and Michael as part of the Kev's Foundation team. As Lisa mentioned, we have donated 90-plus units, AED units, which is an automatic external defibrillator, throughout the Western Mass area. We have taught 6,000-plus community members, including parents, teachers, students, the skills of CPR and AED. And if anybody would like to know, I'm available later. To date, we know through these donations and through the teachings, we have saved 2 lives. But it doesn't stop there. Almost 6 years ago, I walked into Representative John Vilas's office to share my story. At that point, I was a mom on a mission. I was on a mission because I wanted to make it mandatory that every coach that coached in the Commonwealth knew these life-saving skills. I had no idea the process of writing, how to submit, how to pass legislation, but I knew I needed to learn, and I needed help. And lucky for me, I ran into and I met a young representative that identified with my story. And together, we passed our first bill on October 27th, 2014, which now has that every Commonwealth Mass coach must carry a 2-year certification in CPR. Our second piece, one that I'm very proud of, passed this past January. That was Senate Bill 2449. That bill states every school in the Commonwealth must have an AED, and every school-sponsored event must have an AED present by July of 2018. John, you've been an unwavering supporter of the Kev's Foundation. You have helped me navigate Beacon Hill, the State House. You have taught me how to make changes, and for that, I am so grateful. John is here tonight, and I would like to say thank you. And if there are other senators and representatives in the hall, I haven't seen yet, but I thank them, and I thank every senator and every representative at the State House that has passed and has supported this legislation. These are life-saving pieces of legislation that future parents can know and be confident that when their children go to school, or their children are on a playing field, or their children are attending a field trip, they will be in a heart-safe environment. To date, Currently, there are 6 school districts throughout Western Mass that currently require CPR and AED as a high school graduation requirement. That's good, but ultimately, I would love to have all schools in the Commonwealth require this. Just think, year after year, graduate after graduate will be entering their next phase of life, and they will be carrying life-saving skills. We got to do it. With all that we have accomplished, we've just begun to raise awareness of this important cause. I dream of the day I no longer read about a young life that is lost due to an undiagnosed heart condition, or that an AED was not available, or somebody did not start CPR immediately. Kevin's motto before a game, he would say to his teammates, "Play like a champion, no excuses." And it's that motto that drives me to fight like a champion in his honor, to make sure we do everything to reduce eliminating a child before their time. We need to make our communities heart safe, our schools heart safe. So in closing, I then again thank the Ad Club of Western Mass, the Pynchon trustees. Western Mass has been a fabulous place to live. They have been so supportive of the Kev's Foundation mission, and they bring the best volunteers. And I share this tonight, my award tonight, I share with my volunteers, because without you, we could not have accomplished what we had. Thank you.
Susan, I'd like to read a proclamation that was written in your honor. Susan Canning, how blessed you are to have transformed your personal sorrow into love and compassion for others, to have absorbed tragedy with grace and turned that pain into a passion for helping others avoid the same. Your world was changed, and so you changed the world. Through your efforts, our schools and our coaches are better prepared to respond to sudden cardiac arrest in youths, and local children have more access to early cardiac screenings. For creating Kev's Foundation and alerting us all to the critical need to protect our children, we thank you and welcome you to the Order of William Pynchon. I'd like to thank you for your deep public service, and on behalf of the Ad Club of Western Massachusetts, welcome you to the Order of William Pynchon.
So that's a pretty remarkable group of Pynchon medalists, wouldn't you say? So I don't know about you, but I feel a lot better about the world knowing that there are people like our 4 honorees in it. So what I'd like you to do is prepare to go out to the ball, I guess it's the ballroom, and we're going to have a celebration, and we're going to let them know just how happy we are to be in their company tonight. I have one bit of housekeeping. Apparently there are numbers on the table. They mean nothing. If you see a reserved sign, that means something, but the numbers mean nothing. So please enjoy yourselves, and thank you so much for your kind attention.